In chemistry, it is very important to understand the symbols in order to write any chemical reaction. Obviously, chemical reactions are the part of chemistry. So, if you have to write a chemical equation, then you should know about how to write a particular symbol of an element or a molecule for that matter. So this is a very basic part of chemistry, hence we're going to discuss about that in the language of chemistry. Let us discuss about the symbols. So what are symbols? Symbols are the shorthand representation of an element, or it could be a molecule or a compound, right? For example, in the year 1807, John Dalton was the very first person to propose this idea of recognizing a particular element depending on different designs. Like for example, here, this is how the oxygen's symbol was in his time, in John Dalton's time, which is written like this. Whereas hydrogen was represented like this, whereas sulfur was represented like this, and so on and so forth. There were not many elements that were discovered in his time, but whatever elements that were discovered in his time, each and every element was given some kind of representation that is like this. But again, now we know there are 118 elements in the modern periodic table in chemistry, as we know now by now. So each and every element cannot be, we can give the symbol like this, but remembering is again a challenging part. So hence, another scientist, Berzelius, in the year 1814, came with a very good idea of representing symbols with the letters, wherein either the first letter of the element is represented, like for example in carbon, which is CARBON. The very first letter of this carbon is C. So the symbol of this will be C, which is written in uppercase, that is in capital letter. Okay. Similarly, we have another element like sulfur, wherein the first letter of the element, that is S, which is in uppercase, is taken to be as the symbol of that element. But there were many other elements with the same letter, like for example, carbon, which starts with C, but there are many other elements which starts with the letter C, like for example, calcium, chlorine, chromium, many other things. So what was the other idea was to obviously consider the first letter of an element, like for example, you have calcium. Again, this also starts with C. But can we give the symbol as C for calcium also? Well, not. Why? Because it is already given to carbon. Again, to avoid confusion, what the idea was is you take the letter, first letter in uppercase, and any other letter in the word, right? For example, here the first two letters were considered as the symbol, which is capital C and small letter A. The first letter, remember this always, the first letter is always going to be capital or uppercase, whereas the other letters are going to be in small, what do you say, small letters. Whereas, again, another example of the same is you have sulfur whose symbol is S, right? Likewise, we have another element which starts with S. So instead of taking it as only S, we have taken the first two letters of it, which is Si. Okay. And not only this, there were symbols of many metals, like for example, iron. I'm sure you know iron. The word iron is spelled as IRON, but the symbol of this is FE. F in uppercase, E in lowercase, right? Why? How did this come from? The F and E is not there in the name at all, right? So we use its another name. There is another name for iron, which is called as, let me write it here, it's called as ferrum. Ferrum. This is its Latin name, right? So here we use the first two letters of it, which is Fe. So like this, there were many other metals whose names were derived from its Latin name, and the symbols are given according to its Latin name, right? For example, silver. What is the spelling of silver? It is Silver, right? So the symbol is called as, the symbol represented for this element is somewhat called Ag, right? Why? Because the Latin name of this comes out to be argentum. Argentum. So here the first letter A and the third letter G is considered to be the symbol of silver. So there is much more to learn in chemistry. So if you want to learn more, I am trying to make it easier for you. Well, like and subscribe and follow for more. Thank you.